What do you rely on? What do we or you rely on? There's this really wonderful record we covered last night. Again, it's going to be short, I think. Sherry, Stephen, that got covered last night at our church fellowship. And I thought it was really, there was a couple good records, but this one really stuck out. And it's a short record. Amos, glad to see your Facebook page and everything is back up and stable. 2 Chronicles 16, 7 through 11. That's our main section, and then we'll just about be done. Hello, Pam. At that time, Hanai the seer came to Asa, king of Judah. A king is a guy in charge. The king, what he says goes. The king has all authority in the land, right? He signs something, he brings something, a document, a legal document for the country and evidence, and everybody has to abide by that. So the king's in charge. He has all authority. Hello, Lanice. So, and like I said, I'll have a short announcement or two at the end, and then we'll get through this. So Hanai the seer came to Asa the king of Judah and said to him, because you relied on the king of Syria. Lanice, you were there last night. You remember this? I'm going to tie in some other things and keep it quite a bit shorter. You relied on the king of Syria and did not rely on the Lord your God. The army of Syria has escaped you. Now, isn't that interesting? The king has all the resources, all the power, all the authority. He's got the armies at his command, just like in our government, the National Guard and the armed forces are all at the president's command to run about and do. And it says about this king Asa, who had trusted God in past, he said, you did not rely on the Lord your God, and the army of the king of Syria has escaped you. Now, there's more to this, and we could teach this from the remoter context and all the alliances Asa made, ungodly alliances and all. But the simplest key in our life is, are we relying on God? And this king, from his experience with God, had no reason not to trust, to rely, to believe on God. So think about your circumstances. Your lawyer declares something, your doctor, your dentist, your, whoever, your banker. See, all these people that affect your lives, they declare something. Are you going to rely, trust on, have confidence in God, or are you going to, you're going to trust in men? What are we going to do, Lanice? Len, what are we going to do? Are we going to be like King Asa, who had trusted in God and now we don't? Have you gone through life and forgotten what God has done for you in the past? Look, usually the more you walk and increase with the Father, things get more intense. They get deep. The waters get deeper. The walls get higher, whatever. The mountains get bigger. But why would you stop trusting God when you trusted him before? Why? Anyways, so I want to get through this, right? Okay, so the army of king of Syria has escaped you because you did not trust, have confidence in, rely on the Lord your God. We're not the Ethiopians and Libyans, a huge army. Not little, that's just a little dude. I mean, it was a huge army with very many chariots and horsemen. Look, they could have kicked your behindy, Asa. Yet because you relied on the Lord, he gave them in your hand. What was the key? It wasn't his might. It wasn't all his insight. It wasn't all the army and the horsemen and the chariots he had. Yeah, whom I trust, Doria. This is a little bit of what we covered last night that you weren't able to get there. I think they made a CD for you. I'm pretty confident they did. I saw one sitting there. So you relied on the Lord. He gave them into your hand. If you need God to do something mighty in your life, rely on him. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Trust in him. Believe in him. So you relied on the Lord and he gave him in your hand. Do you know why we don't receive into our hand what God has for us? Why? Because we don't rely. Trust, have confidence in him. For the eyes of the Lord go to and fro throughout the earth to give strong support, strengthen, quiet, give peace. To give strong support to strength. It's the word Salem in the Hebrew. And remember, Salem was the city of peace. Do you remember that king, the king of Salem? Abraham gave to the king of Salem tithes, offerings. The king of peace. He was the king of the city of peace. This is this word here. It's very interesting. So God is always looking, and this is a figure of speech. God is spirit, John 24. He doesn't have physical eyes. His spiritual eyes are something far greater than our limit. Our limited eyes could see, I'm looking here. I can't see what's behind there. Oh, in the camera I can, in that, what it's shooting, I can see behind me, but I got to look to see what's behind me. God doesn't have to look around to see. The ability of his insight, being spirit, is unlimited. Everywhere present, omniscient, all-knowing, right? Omnipresent, all that stuff. So anyways, God knows, God sees, and here's the deal. If God knows and God sees, and it's beyond what you or I can see, can't we trust him? They make these new cameras now. They're called 360 cameras. They take a loop 360. They're kind of strange looking because we're not used to a picture that's 360. Have you seen one? Or maybe a couple of them. And yet, let's put it like that. And that would be limited. 360 vision for God would be limited. But for us, that would be like, wow, how do you have that? God's vision is unlimited. But if you had unlimited vision, you'd always know what's going on around you. God always knows what's going on. And since he's the one to supply all you need, he works all things together for good, and he's the one who'll fight your battles. Shouldn't we trust in the one that's all-knowing? The one that sends the helper, the comforter, to help us? The counselor, right? Counselor, comforter, helper. Okay, you relied on the Lord and he gave him to your hand. For the eyes of the Lord, and we're in 2 Chronicles 16, 7 through 11, we're about verse 8 or 9. The Lord's eyes, we know, go throughout the earth to give strong support to you. Who's God looking? God is looking to give strong support to someone. It's you. It's me. It's us. He isn't running around looking, there's a coyote that's trusting me. Well, there's a gorilla. So let me go to the zoo and see how many of those animals are looking to trust me. No. It says that even the young lions shall lack, but it shall not happen to you. It shall not happen to you. So to those hearts that are blameless, that are pure, that are trusting, that have that confidence in him, he gives that strong support to those whose heart is pure, that are looking to him. He's trusting. God, you know what God is busy doing? Do you know what God is busy doing? He's looking for those that are believing and trusting him to give, Levon says it, strong support. S-T-R-O-N-G. Support. You know what support is? Support isn't over-crushing. Support is lifting, guiding, strengthening. God is looking to give it to you. He watches over his word to perform it. I think that's like 1 Kings 8:56. God is watching over his word to perform it. Well, he can perform it for those that are believing in him and his care. So Asa always trusted. And then in this one incident, that army, he's scratching his head. He's going, that army's looking pretty big. They got a lot more chariots, a lot more horsemen, a lot more whatever they had. They got a lot more. I think I'm going to get my hiney kicked. He goes, so I'm going to go make an agreement with some other king or some things and try to strengthen my armies. God always delivered him. Why was he not trusting God? God had to go around looking to and fro because he couldn't look. Asa wasn't trusting him. So you have done foolishly. Oh, that's heavy. That's very heavy. He did foolishly because he relied on the king of Syria, another leader. Oh man, that king of Syria, he's got some good stuff. Hey, king of Syria, I got a lot of stuff in my storehouses here, a lot of gold and stuff, and I'll trade you some of your gold if you just loan me some of your armies. Well, he got the armies and he still failed because he didn't have the armies of the living God. You did foolishly, for now you'll have wars. Asa was angry with the seer, Ananiah, right? And puts him in stocks into prison. Oh, there you go. Preach the gospel. They throw you in prison. I don't. For he was at rage with him because of this. And Asa inflicted cruelties upon some of the people at the same time. Listen, what do some people do? I'll tell you what they do. Some people trust in their bank account. Some people trust in their medical report. Some people trust in their lawyer. Some people trust in what they have built. Wasn't it that guy in the Gospels? Hey, I've laid up much wealth. I'm going to go build some more barns and all this stuff. I'm going to just like go crazy and buy all this stuff up. I don't know. Psalm 27. Some trust in chariots. Well, maybe that'd be today. It'd be more like car. It wouldn't be horses. Horses would have been 150 years ago or something. So some trust in chariots. So cars, tanks, and some in horses. Oh yeah, there you go. Same idea, but modernize it. You know, I trust in my business. I trust in my job. I trust in my employer. I don't know if that's a place. You're not going to find strong support there usually. But we trust in the name of the Lord our God. Who do you trust in? This is what David said in Psalm 27:13, and I'm like, done. I would have despaired of like life if I had not believed that I would see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Let me read it a little more accurately. This is the NASB. I would have despaired unless I had believed that I would see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. The NIV says it. I like the way NIV says it. Niv. I remain confident. And this gets us to God confidence. Do you have God confidence? 1 John 5:14-15, right in there. I remain confident of this. I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Are you confident that you will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living? If you are, you won't be like Asa, who trusts in the strength of man and fails, because he always saw that God delivered into his hand when he relied on him. So today, who are you going to rely on in your circumstances? Or really, are you going to lean on men? Boy, that's just like pain in your side and bringing hurt right now. That's a whole bag of hurt. Trusting in men, it's a whole bag of hurt. Let us be ones that will trust in the Lord of God. We are not the one to trust in what we have, what others have, chariots and horses, but we trust in the name of the Lord our God. There you go. You can take that to God's bank account today, and he will work on your behalf. So quick announcements. Let's see. So for those of you in our Secrets of the Vine school, like our discipleship school, about being fruitful in our walks, in our lives, because God is taking us from no fruit to a little fruit to more fruit to great fruit. So we're planning Friday night. That's today, right? So Friday night at 8 Central, I plan to do that unless I don't have a good connection because I'm on the road. So my next announcement, your prayers as I go to the Chicago Embassy, Pakistan Embassy in Chicago. I'll get it right, something like that. Pakistan Embassy in Chicago, that I get my visa for our upcoming mission to Pakistan in April. And then for those of you who want to be in our school, March 16th starts our prophetic school. And last week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, that's all what those broadcasts were about last week, giving a lot of details of that and showing some of what we do. Anyway, who are you going to rely on? If you rely on the name of the Lord your God, I'm confident that God will be faithful to you. But if you'll rely on what you have in your hand, your neighbor has, your bank account has, your business has, your employer, you're going to find yourself falling short and missing out on what God has for you. Okay? Are we on in this walk? Are we going to step up and step out? Are we going to be the ones to walk in the might of the Lord our God?